welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to be reviewing all three of the new Huda Beauty Pastel Obsessions palettes. I love Huda Beauty eyeshadows. She makes some of my absolute favorite palettes ever, so when this collection was announced, I was so excited to get my hands on it and try it and play with it. My idea is to make this video reviewing all three of these shades, and then I also wanted to make a 2 looks 1 palette per palette. Now we will talk about that a little bit later in the video. Of course, I will be showing you swatches of every single shade in every palette. I will also be doing 1 look with each palette in this video and telling you guys my thoughts and opinions on what I have tried so far. Before we get started with all of that, if you are new to my channel, my name is Patty. I do lots of makeup tutorials, reviews, and all of the above. So if you like that type of content, please subscribe to my channel before you leave. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. With all of that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you've watched my channel for a little while, or if you've gone back and watched some of my older videos, you know I love Huda Beauty eyeshadows. The Mercury Retrograde palette was actually my #1 palette that launched last year, my absolute favorite from all of the launches. Even though some other palettes I loved almost just as much, that one was the one that I picked for my #1. So I've loved Huda's palettes in the past. I also have all of these right here. When the spring collection launched last year with the Neon Obsession palettes, I picked up these two and I made 2 looks 1 palette videos with each one of these. And in the fall time when she came out with the Nude Obsessions, I was obsessed, okay? I did a video reviewing all 3 of these, and then I did 2 looks 1 palette per palette, and you guys really seem to enjoy those videos. So of course, when I saw that these were launching, I was so excited about it. Now these have the same plastic packaging as these right here. However, I would have to say the packaging in these, like the presentation of it, looks a little simpler. I don't want to say cheaper because they're all plastic, but it does not look as cool per se as like the neon ones, or like these right here had the coolest like leather like texture in the front of them. So starting by the packaging, even though it is very similar, I think it is a little bit simpler per se. I bought these 2 days ago when they launched in stores. I picked it up from my local Sephora. Let me show you what the packaging looks like up close, and I want to show you what the inside of them look like when they were brand spanking new. These palettes right here look really beautiful on Instagram. They have this shifting shade in each one of them that's like a mix of 2 colors, and it is a shimmer, and it looks so attractive in pictures. You guys are seeing it on the screen right now. Like, they look good, okay? So yesterday after I got home with my palettes, I finished up editing the full face of Drugstore First Impressions video that I just recently updated. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and link it up here. And after I finished uploading that video, I wanted to play with this palette. I took the clips of the palettes being open for the first time, and I decided I could go ahead and film one of the looks. I chose the green palette because I thought this was one of the ones that I was the most curious about, and I started playing with it without swatching it. To my surprise, some of the colors look very similar on the eyelids. You guys are going to see my attempt at a look with this in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and swatch this one for you right now. Alright, so here are all 9 shades of the palette swatched. They get a bit more intense towards the last 4. These 2 right here were the cause of some frustration, and they kind of show up slightly differently right here on the swatches, but my problem with it was that as soon as you try to blend them, they fully disappear. I kid you not, you guys will see in a second. My other problem with it is these 2 shades look exactly the same. In the pan, they are very different just because one of them is the one that's like a green swirled with a brown. But once you swatch them, they look almost exactly the same. This green one right here had a hard time showing up the greenness on camera. And then the ones that I do really like were these two right here. These were nice and pigmented. Okay, so now that you know what happened, I'm going to go ahead and include clips of me trying to make this palette work for me for the first time. Now, of course, keep in mind that whenever I do a look with a palette, I don't want to reach for anything else. I want that palette to work for me. So let me show you guys what happened when I started trying it. Keep in mind that I had not swatched it, so I didn't know that some of the colors look the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our Mint Pastel Obsessions look. Starting with the color on the top left corner, I'm just going to put that color on kind of as a transition shade with a big fluffy brush. The one I'm currently using is the JH30, and I'm going to pat on that color just to build up some intensity because I want it to show. I don't just want it to disappear into my crease. I'm just going to blend out the edges of it right there. But you can definitely see that minty color right there. Next, with the color on the bottom left of the palette, I am going to intensify the crease a little bit just to give it a bit of dimension. I also just switched my brush to an M441 from Morphe. And the green kind of got blended away again. It's like you have to really like pack it on for it to show, but if you just like lightly dust it off, all of the pigment kind of goes away, which is not very nice, I guess. Let's keep going though. I'm dying to use some of these shimmers, so I'm going to use the one in the middle on the left side, and I'm putting it right here in the center of my eyelid. It is a beautiful, beautiful shimmer. It doesn't look mint or brown. It's kind of just like a very light shimmery shade. I'm going to get the color right in the center of the palette, and I'm going to put it right here towards the center of my eyelid. And that color almost looks the same. It has the slightest hint of green, but I feel like the camera is not even picking up the difference. Alright, bottom center, super soft eyeshadow, almost a cream really. I'm putting it on the outer corner of the eye. I literally made a dent in it because it is so creamy. And that one you can definitely see that is a teal shimmer shade. And I'm going to just put the teal shade on the outer corner and into the crease a little bit to see if we can fix this hot mess of an eye look. I'm going to just clean right underneath and see if we can make anything off this. The thing is, I try to stick with only the colors that come in the palette, and I don't see any other colors that could possibly help me make this any better. So I'm just going to put some face makeup on. I'll be right back. We'll do some under eyes, and maybe mascara will just like be the thing that helps, you know? Alright, I'm back, and I put on some face makeup. It honestly didn't help as much as I thought it would. It's okay. We're going to use the color on the top left right underneath my eye to smoke things out. What we're gonna smoke, I'm not sure. I just feel like this is not a palette that you can use on its own. I'm going to use the bottom right to intensify things a little bit. That's the only color in this palette that could give you a little bit of depth. And I'm going to pop the center color right in the inner corner. So this is what things are looking like. I mean, there's just not other color I can get from this palette to make this better, I don't feel. So we'll try again in the mint palette video. Okay, so after what you just saw, I got very frustrated with the fact that I couldn't get my shades to show, that this color down here had fully blended away. I could not see it at all whatsoever. It's like it wasn't even put there to begin with. You could barely see the transition shade, and my shimmers were all over the place, no definition, nothing. I did not like the look at all. I was very frustrated by it, and I just kind of quit. But that was my first impressions on the palette, and I wanted to share them with you because it was very frustrating and disappointing to me to see that I couldn't make that palette work for me. And we're gonna put this subject on pause. I'll tell you some more things about it later, and let's move on to the second palette I tried, which was the Pink Pastel palette. I tried this one this morning because it has colors that I could totally wear to work, and let me go ahead and swatch them for you. Okay, so this is the pink palette swatched. As you can see, we have some similarities in some of the shimmers here as well. I think they look a little more different than the green one. Like you can tell, this one's a little peachier, this one's a little more purpley pinky. And then we have this shade right here, which definitely is a bit darker than everything else, which I appreciate, because even if it's a pastel palette, I need shades that are going to give things a little bit of a contrast per se. So these are the swatches of the pink palette. And this one I put on this morning before going to work because I had kind of learned about the fact that some shades looked similar yesterday. I went ahead and swatched them in the back of my hand before I started trying it on. And I did do my left eye before my right eye, which is the one that you'll see me doing. So go ahead and check out my look with the pink palette. Let's get started with the pink palette look, and I'm grabbing a fluffy brush and the color at the bottom and the center, and I'm just doing windshield wiper motions with it back and forth, creating a bit of a transition. I already have primed my eyelid with Shadow Insurance by Too Faced, and I'm just back and forth blending everything. Alright, now I'm going in with the bottom right color and I'm patting it on the outer corner of my eye. I thought this would give me more pigment than that, but I'm just going to work with it and blend it in. I'm taking the color in the middle left and I'm going to add a bit of depth to that crease with it. Same brush. This is the JH33 from Morphe. I'm just blending everything in. And now that there's barely anything left on my brush, I am smoking out that crease. I'm grabbing the color in the center of the palette with the Sephora Collection number 15 brush, and I'm tapping it right here in the center of my eyelid, all the way up to the crease area. And then with the greenish shimmery shade, I'm just going to do the inner part of the eyelid all the way to the inner corner of the eye. And I'm grabbing the matte green and layering it with it a bit to give it a bit more intensity. Okay, just like this, I'm going to do my face makeup and I'll be right back to do the bottom of the eye. Alright, so for the bottom lash line, I'm going to mix the two colors that I used on the crease, and I'm going to put them right underneath my lower lash line, back and forth, just like that. Make sure it meets right here at the end. And then I'm going to blend that out with the shade I used as a transition. Okay, I'm going to do some eyeliner in my waterline, just some black eyeliner and mascara, and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, I'm back. Mascara is on, some eyeliner in the waterline, and this is what it looks like. And this is both eyes right here. I had used a little bit of the Shadow Insurance primer before I did my pink look, and I wore it to work. It wore all day, it didn't crease, it stayed, it looked really pretty. I got complimented on it. I really don't have that many complaints about this palette, except I think this shade and this shade you can use the exact same way as kind of like your transition shade, so I wish there was something else in there. But I am excited to keep playing with this one for sure. Now let's talk about the purple palette, which is this one right here. I left it for last because I thought this was going to be the one that I liked the most. This is the look that I'm wearing right now. Again, I did swatch it before I tried it because I wanted to see kind of like how things would look. But I did film the first eye I was doing, so you will see my first impressions to the purple palette in a second. I did have some difficulties with it, so let me show you guys what happened. Okay guys, let's get started with the purple palette, and I have a feeling just by the colors that this one is going to be my favorite one. Hopefully it does not disappoint. I'm going to start with the color in the center at the bottom, and I'm going to put it on the crease of my eye. I'm using the JH30 brush, and this color looks like a great transition already. Back, same brush, same color. I'm just building it up a little bit more on the crease of the eye right there. Now that that color is blended out, I'm going to get the color on the top right corner of the palette, and we're going to intensify things a little bit. So I'm going to tap that color on the outer corner of the eye and blend it into the transition shade ever so slightly. And I'm doing the same thing on the inner part of the eyelid. I think I'm going to tap that color on the crease a little bit to build up intensity. And I'm going to add a bit more depth with the color at the bottom right. Outer corner, inner corner right here, and let's make a meet in the middle. I'm grabbing this swirled color and I'm going to tap it right here in the center of the eye, and it looks like a really nice purple glittery shade. And I'm tapping it right here in the center. This is the JH51, and over top of it I'm going to layer a little bit of the color on the left in the center. I think it's making a little bit of a difference, but not very visible, honestly. I'm going back with that left color on the inner corner of the eye right there, and back with the color at the bottom right. I am intensifying the outer and inner corners a little bit. Okay, so this is what the top of the eye looks like right here. I feel like the purple wore off of right here. Let me try with my finger. That's so weird. See how it looks like light purple and then dark purple right there? Like on top of the shimmer, it looks darker than just on my skin. I'm gonna try right here again. Outer corner. See how that looks lighter than before? And then it looks darker right by the shimmer right there. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why these shades do that. I'm going to keep trying. I'm sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, but I just want to make sure to point it out to you. So I have the shimmer in the inner corner, and then where it should be matte and pigmented right here, it looks lighter than where the purple meets the shimmer. It's almost like the shimmer makes the purple grab the color better. And so right here in the center, it's like not cooperating. It's like the pigment's not sticking. I'm gonna get you guys a little further away from me, and I'm going to see if anything else works. I'm going to grab some Shadow Insurance right there. And on my other eye, I'm going to tap it all over my eyelid. I already had Shadow Insurance on though, but maybe if it's like fresh, it'll stick better. We'll see. I'm going to do the same steps. So I'm grabbing the top left purple first, building it on the crease, inner part of the eye right here, and then with the darker purple, outer corner, inner corner. I'm just going to tap the swirled shade right here in the center of my eyelid. That looks so much better. Compare my eyes. See, this looks like it's missing shadow right there in the center. And the outer corner, I think I kind of fixed it at the end, but it's still missing like color from like out here. And in here you can see how it's like nice and defined. Okay, so I'm going to try this eye again. I'm about to wipe it off and redo it. I'll be right back. Okay, as we can see, that is much better. I'm going to do my face makeup and I'll be right back to finish up this eye look. Alrighty, I'm back. My face makeup is on. I applied my mascara, which as you can see, I also put all over my eyelid, but I'm about to fix that in a second. I think hopefully, if not, I mean, it's not that bad. I'm going to get the darkest purple in the palette and put it right underneath my lower lash line, back and forth. I'm using a JH38 brush. And next, to blend things out, I'm going to use that transition shade once again underneath the eyes as well. Okay, so I'm trying to fix the mascara smudges and they're not necessarily going away, especially this one up here. Like, it just wants to stay there, and I have struggled enough with the eyeshadows to be concerned about the little smudge, so I'm just going to move on. I'm going to use my purple Ting eyeliner from Fenty in the waterline. Hold on. Alright, just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and do my lower lashes. Let me look in the mirror before I smudge again. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Mascara fully on, and this right here is the purpley look. Alright, so as you saw, this palette I don't think is going to work without a primer. You definitely have to prime your eyelids for it to work, because the pigment of the shades was basically going away from my eyelid. I do want to continue to play with this one because I do think I created a pretty look with it. However, it was very disappointing how the pigment of the shadows was just leaving my eyeballs basically when I had no primer on. And by the way, it's not that I had no primer on, I just had put very little primer on, because I did slightly prime my eyes, but they didn't feel tacky, which when I applied primer the second time, they did feel tacky and the eyeshadows worked much better. So let me go ahead and show you guys the swatches of this purple palette. Here they are. As you can see, these are the most defined of them all. You can definitely see the differences between the purples, the shimmers, the mattes. The lightest shade in this one would probably be this one here, but everything else, even though they're still pastel shades, packs a little bit more of a punch, which makes me think that I could do more looks with this palette, try different combinations of it, and be happier with it. I do want to say that in every single one of the palettes, I did really enjoy how crystal-like the shimmers look. They really are very, very nice and sparkly. The only thing I would prefer is that there was a little bit more shift in the colors of them, because they are incredibly like glass-like. They really are very reflective. It's really a shame how when I only had a little bit of primer on, the pigment on these purples kind of went away. Now, the only thing I do not remember is how much primer I was wearing when I tried the green palette yesterday. So I think I owe it to myself to give it a second time. However, like, these shades go away. Like, there's no going around it. I'm going to swatch them. The two matte shades right there. See, you can kind of see them. You can kind of tell a difference. But the moment you like rub them a little bit, they fully go away. And that's what you do when you blend things out, right? Like, they just rub away. By the way, I was talking about my fiasco with the green palette to my coworker Annie today, and she was telling me how she saw Huda use the green on her page and that it looked really nice and pigmented. So we went and checked the Huda Instagram account, and the one that Huda had used was the pinky one, which looked good. And then I was looking for pictures of people wearing the green palette, and I found some, but what I found out was that what they are using to make the green palette look green is the green base. So Huda has her liquid eyeshadows, and she has one that is a neon green, and that's what they are using to make that green look so vibrant. So it's not just this little mint palette right here that they're using. Like this girl right here, you can see her holding her eye next to the palette. I can assure you she used that green liquid eyeshadow, because none of these colors are going to look as pigmented as that looks right there. You can see him right there. He got out the little green liquid shadow, and that's what he used to get that like super vibrant green pigmentation. And then he like kind of pretended like he put some of those greens eyeshadows on top, which like the shimmers he did, and the shimmers are beautiful and I'm sure he used them, but none of these matte greens are going to give you that look. So if that's the look you're going for, then I would skip on this palette and just buy the liquid one. Now I want to ask you guys a question, because when I bought these palettes right here, I did a video reviewing all three of them, and then I did 2 looks per palette. Now, I personally don't feel inspired right now to do 2 looks per palette with these, because I couldn't even do 1 look with the green one, so I don't know how I'm going to do 2. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to try to do 2 looks with this palette, or if you want me to go and buy that green liquid eyeshadow and then attempt to do 2 looks with this palette. I think if I buy the green liquid eyeshadow, I would be much more successful at achieving the kinds of looks that they are showing on her Instagram accounts, because with this green palette, I don't think it's happening. Besides that, let me know if you want me to do 2 more looks with the lilac palette or the rose palette. I would be interested in knowing. If you guys want me to do 2 looks with each one of these, I would. However, I am going to tell you right now that if you're looking for a nice light pink palette, I 1000% prefer the nude lights over the rose one. Let me show you guys side by side what they look like. Here is what they look like, and this nude light palette right here is so much more pigmented. I've used it 1,000 times, and every time I get a really beautiful, wearable, pretty look. This one right here, again, I wore it today all day. I had no complaints. I can totally do 2 looks for you guys with it, so if you want me to do that, I will. Just let me know in the comment section below. But if you want my opinion on like which one to go for, I would do the nude light for sure. This is one of my favorite palettes she's ever done, and it is one of my top palettes of last year, and I have used it a lot. Even though it looks like I barely made a dent, I promise you I've used it a lot, because the first like 2 months that I was working at my new job, I didn't have like Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow, so I wore this one almost every day. And then, now that I know that we need primer, I could do 2 other looks with the lilac palette. So again, just comment down below your thoughts and opinions about this whole situation. Let me know what you guys want me to do, and I will go ahead and do that. I am honestly very disappointed and kind of heartbroken, because I love Huda Beauty eyeshadows so much. I defend them all the time. People complain about them being powdery and being all over your face, and I'm like, just do your face makeup first. You know, if something is pigmented and it blends, I don't care about it having fallout. I don't care about it having kick up, but it has to look good. The pigment has to stay on your eyes, you know. Like, I'm kind of disappointed by this, and the main disappointment for sure is this green palette right here, just because I couldn't even make it work for one look, you know. So I am very interested in what you guys have to say. Please sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you would like me to do. If you like this video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. My name is Patty, and I would love for you to join my channel. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye!